In the quaint town of Greenwood, nestled amidst dense woods, stood an abandoned mansion called Hollowbrook Manor. Locals believed it was cursed, haunted by the vengeful spirit of Lady Eleanor Hollowbrook, a tragic figure who had met an untimely demise centuries ago. Legends of her existence were woven into the very fabric of the town's history, tales whispered from generation to generation around the crackling fires of the hearth. The mansion, once an elegant residence, now stood in stark contrast to its former grandeur, draped in a shroud of mystery and terror. Its cracked windows and ivy-covered walls exuded an ominous aura, almost as if the very stone and mortar retained memories of the horrors that had unfolded within. The once beautiful gardens that surrounded the manor now lay unkempt and overgrown, nature's attempt to reclaim what was once rightfully hers. Within the bounds of Hollowbrook Manor, the air seemed to thicken with foreboding, and the restless spirits of the past seemed to linger, bound to the decaying walls and hidden corners. The townsfolk firmly believed that Lady Eleanor's tormented soul had never left the mansion, her ethereal presence haunting every nook and cranny. They swore that on moonlit nights, her anguished cries and mournful wails echoed through the deserted halls, a mournful symphony of sorrow that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to listen. As the sun set beyond the horizon, casting long shadows over the landscape, a group of curious teenagers dared to venture closer to Hollowbrook Manor. Their faces betrayed a mixture of fascination and trepidation as they approached the dilapidated structure, their footsteps muffled by the soft carpet of fallen leaves. Some of them exchanged wary glances, wondering if the legends held any truth, while others laughed nervously, eager to prove their bravery in the face of superstition. Despite the warnings and whispered tales, the allure of the forbidden drew them closer, like moths to an alluring flame. They were adventurers at heart, seeking thrills beyond the mundane routines of small-town life. The tales of Lady Eleanor's tragic fate only served to fuel their curiosity, and they couldn't resist the irresistible pull of Hollowbrook Manor's enigmatic presence. As they crossed the threshold into the mansion, the atmosphere changed drastically. The air grew colder, and a musty scent of decay lingered, as if the very essence of time had halted within those walls. The teenagers' hearts thumped wildly, and their breaths became shallow, each one acutely aware that they were stepping into an uncharted realm where the lines between reality and the supernatural blurred. Through the dimly lit corridors, they ventured deeper into the heart of the mansion, the sense of dread and excitement intensifying with every step. Creaking floorboards seemed to echo the faint whispers of the past, as if the spirits within the walls acknowledged their presence. Ornaments from a bygone era adorned the walls, frozen in time, and portraits of long-deceased Hollowbrook ancestors watched them with lifeless eyes, their gaze seemingly following their every move. As they ascended the grand staircase, its ornate railing covered in a thin layer of dust, a chill breeze brushed against their cheeks, raising goosebumps on their arms. Though the windows were long gone, the sensation felt eerily like the touch of unseen fingers. It was as if the mansion itself were alive, an ancient being watching them with morbid curiosity. Despite the sense of foreboding, they pressed on, unable to resist the allure of exploring the unknown. They were now within the very heart of the mansion's enigmatic web, unaware that they were but players in a centuries-old drama that had long transcended the boundaries of time and space. Little did they know that their journey into the heart of Hollowbrook Manor was about to take them on a harrowing and life-altering experience, one that would forever leave its mark on their souls. The whispers of the past, the shadows of Lady Eleanor's sorrow, and the malevolent forces lingering within the mansion were about to converge, entangling them in a chilling tale of horror and redemption they could never have fathomed. The night had only just begun, and the darkness within Hollowbrook Manor had yet to reveal its deepest secrets. As the sun set and shadows crept over the landscape, the teenagers cautiously approached Hollowbrook Manor, their footsteps cautious and measured as if trying not to disturb the lingering spirits that might be watching. The encroaching darkness seemed to play tricks on their eyes, as the mansion loomed larger and more imposing with every step, the once dignified architecture now twisted into a nightmarish facade of decay and despair. Their excitement had waned, replaced by an overwhelming sense of trepidation, and they exchanged glances filled with uncertainty. The weight of the legends and the countless chilling tales they had heard clung to them like a heavy cloak, threatening to crush their spirits even before they entered the mansion's forsaken halls. The evening breeze carried with it a faint, ghostly whisper, making their hair stand on end. It was as if the very air was trying to warn them of the horrors that awaited within, but their youthful curiosity prevailed, pushing them forward despite their instincts screaming at them to turn back. As they crossed the threshold into the mansion, the eerie silence enveloped them, broken only by the echoes of their own footsteps. The dusty floorboards creaked under their weight, like the anguished cries of the past echoing through time. Their senses were heightened, every small sound magnified as they navigated through the darkened corridors, half expecting a spectral hand to reach out and grab them at any moment. The dim light from their flashlights cast eerie shadows on the crumbling walls, revealing glimpses of the mansion's former splendor hidden beneath layers of neglect. Tattered wallpaper peeled away, revealing faded patterns that had once been a testament to the opulence of the Hollowbrook family. Broken chandeliers hung from the ceilings, once a symbol of grandeur, now twisted into sinister shapes that seemed to sway menacingly in the darkness. Each room they entered held its own secrets, a graveyard of forgotten memories that refused to rest in peace. Abandoned furniture lay strewn about, as if the spirits of the past had fled in haste, leaving behind fragments of their lives frozen in time. The teenagers couldn't help but feel like intruders, trespassing into a realm that did not belong to the living. As they moved deeper into the mansion, the temperature seemed to drop further, leaving trails of frosty breath in the air. The silence was oppressive, punctuated only by the distant sounds of nature outside, as if the world beyond the mansion had retreated in fear. Despite their growing unease, they couldn't deny the fascination that held them captive. They were explorers, adventurers seeking the thrill of the unknown, and Hollowbrook Manor offered a tantalizing blend of history and terror. The very essence of the mansion seemed to feed off their fear, manifesting in sudden drafts that snuffed out their flashlights or caused the doors to slam shut without warning. Every creak and rustle sent shivers down their spines, and they were acutely aware of their own heartbeats, thundering in their chests like drums heralding their descent into the darkness. Whispers seemed to echo through the walls, indistinguishable from the creaking of the mansion's timbers, yet carrying an otherworldly quality that sent their imaginations into overdrive. With every step deeper into Hollowbrook Manor, their resolve was tested, the thin line between bravery and terror blurring with each passing moment. What had begun as an adventure now seemed like a nightmare from which they couldn't escape. And little did they know that their actions would soon set into motion a series of events that would unravel the mysteries of the mansion, revealing the tragic tale of Lady Eleanor Hollowbrook and the malevolent forces that sought to hold her spirit in eternal torment. Their journey into the heart of darkness had only just begun, and little did they know that the mansion's twisted history and the spirits of the past were waiting to confront them, testing their mettle in a battle against the unknown, a battle that would either forge them into courageous heroes or condemn them to become mere echoes of the terror that lurked within Hollowbrook Manor. Within the mansion's decaying walls, the teenagers found themselves surrounded by an atmosphere that seemed to exist between worlds, as if the veil between the living and the dead had been lifted, allowing them glimpses into a realm beyond their comprehension. The air hung heavy with a lingering sense of history, and they couldn't help but feel like intruders disturbing the restless spirits that had long sought peace within these haunted halls. As they cautiously ventured deeper, the darkness seemed to grow more oppressive, and their flashlights cast dancing shadows that played tricks on their minds. The very architecture of the mansion seemed to shift, transforming the hallways into a labyrinth that defied logical design, as if the mansion itself sought to confound and ensnare them. From the corners of their eyes, they caught fleeting glimmers of ethereal apparitions, the pale outlines of figures that appeared and vanished with a haunting elegance. Each time they tried to focus their gazes, the specters would fade, leaving them to question whether they had truly seen the spirits of the past or if their eyes had deceived them in the midst of fear. As they ascended the grand staircase, the walls whispered secrets from centuries past, as if the very bricks and mortar retained the echoes of conversations and laughter long gone. The flickering candlelight cast a surreal glow on the intricate tapestries that adorned the walls, and the teenagers couldn't help but wonder if the scenes depicted in the tapestries were merely artistic renderings or if they held hidden messages from a bygone era. Every room they explored had a story to tell, a snapshot frozen in time that seemed to transcend the boundaries of the present. In a library adorned with ancient tomes, the pages seemed to flutter with long-forgotten knowledge, as if eager to share their wisdom with those who dared to listen. In an opulent dining hall, a spectral banquet unfolded before their eyes, with the faint sound of silverware clinking against fine china, as if the feasting guests still relished a meal that had ceased to exist centuries ago. But as they descended into the mansion's shadowy depths, they found themselves confronting more sinister forces lurking in the darkness. Unseen hands seemed to grasp at their ankles, threatening to pull them into unseen depths, and the walls seemed to close in, pressing on them with a malevolence that made it hard to breathe. Their flashlights flickered erratically, and they could hear their own hearts pounding in their ears, drowning out the distant echoes of their footsteps. In the midst of fear, they clung to one another, seeking solace and reassurance amidst the encroaching horrors. As they wandered deeper into the heart of the mansion, they came across a hidden chamber, concealed behind a tapestry that seemed to writhe like a living entity. The air within the chamber felt electric, charged with an energy that sent shivers down their spines. Arcane symbols etched into the stone floor seemed to pulse with an otherworldly light, drawing them into the heart of the mystery. Tattered journals lay scattered across an ancient wooden table, filled with cryptic writings that hinted at long-forgotten rituals and the tragedy of Lady Eleanor Hollowbrook's fate. The teenagers carefully pored over the writings, their fingers trembling with anticipation and fear, as they tried to piece together the truth behind the legends that had haunted their town for generations. But as they delved deeper into the secrets of the chamber, an overwhelming feeling of being watched crept over them, as if unseen eyes scrutinized their every move. Whispers, barely audible, brushed against their ears like an icy breath, filling their minds with unsettling questions and doubts. In the flickering candlelight, a spectral figure emerged from the shadows, the face of Lady Eleanor herself appearing before them, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly intensity. Her visage bore the weight of centuries of anguish and injustice, and her spectral form seemed to radiate a mixture of sorrow and anger. Her voice, a haunting echo from the past, reverberated through the chamber, imploring them to help her find release from the torment that had bound her to the mansion. They could feel her pain, a raw emotional force that tugged at their very souls, compelling them to act in a quest for redemption. The teenagers now faced a momentous decision: to heed Lady Eleanor's desperate plea for release or to turn away from the horrors that had engulfed them. Unbeknownst to them, their choice would set into motion a series of events that would lead them to confront not only the tormented spirit of Lady Eleanor but also the malevolent forces that lay hidden within the mansion's dark recesses. In the heart of Hollowbrook Manor, within the hidden chamber where the teenagers had discovered the tattered journals and arcane symbols, they found themselves at a crucial crossroads, faced with the weight of history and the haunting presence of Lady Eleanor's tormented spirit. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls, adding an unsettling ambience to the momentous occasion that unfolded before them. As they gathered around the ancient wooden table, their hearts pounded with trepidation and resolve. The writings in the journals revealed a tragic tale of injustice, painting a vivid picture of Lady Eleanor's life, her kindness, and her skill in healing, which had ultimately led to her unjust persecution. The weight of history pressed upon them, and the realization that they held the key to her salvation filled them with a sense of duty to right the wrongs of the past. Guided by the ancient texts, they formulated a plan to break the curse that had ensnared Lady Eleanor's spirit for centuries. The ritual they prepared was intricate and steeped in ancient mysticism, requiring a delicate balance of intentions and energies. Each word spoken, each gesture made, seemed to resonate with a force far beyond their understanding, as if the very fabric of reality responded to their plea for justice. The atmosphere within the chamber shifted, the air growing charged with an unseen power as the ritual commenced. The flickering candle flames danced wildly, casting ghostly shadows that seemed to waver and merge with the spectral apparition of Lady Eleanor herself. Her form shimmered with an ethereal luminescence, as if she was on the precipice of crossing over into the realm of the living once more. But just as the ritual reached its climax, a sudden chill permeated the chamber, and a malevolent force stirred in response to the teenagers' actions. The room trembled, and the symbols etched into the floor glowed with an eerie intensity. The sinister entity that had hidden behind Lady Eleanor's restless spirit revealed itself, twisting and distorting the very essence of the ritual. Their plan had unwittingly unleashed a darker force that had long been imprisoned within the mansion's walls, and it sought to feed off the turmoil and anguish surrounding Lady Eleanor's tragic fate. The candles flickered, threatened to extinguish, as if the malevolent presence sought to devour the light that could lead to Lady Eleanor's salvation. Fear gripped the teenagers' hearts, but they refused to back down. Their determination had led them this far, and they were now faced with a choice: to abandon their quest and flee from the darkness, or to stand their ground and confront the malevolent entity that sought to claim Lady Eleanor's soul. In a moment of unwavering courage, the survivor stepped forward, drawing strength from the words in the journal, from the echoes of Lady Eleanor's cries, and from the bond formed with the spirits of his friends who had succumbed to the horrors of Hollowbrook Manor. With a resolute voice, he recited an incantation to banish the malevolent force that had hijacked their ritual. In the ensuing clash of energies, the very walls of the chamber seemed to vibrate with the intensity of the spiritual battle. The candles burned brightly, casting a brilliant glow that fought against the encroaching darkness. The survivor could feel Lady Eleanor's spirit intertwining with his own, a profound connection that transcended time and space. With every ounce of his being, he pushed back against the malevolent force, refusing to let it shatter their resolve and to condemn Lady Eleanor to eternal suffering. The echoes of Lady Eleanor's tormented cries resounded in his mind, fueling his determination to break the cycle of despair and break the chains that bound her. In a crescendo of energy, the malevolent force was banished, retreating to the shadows from whence it had emerged. The chamber seemed to breathe a collective sigh of relief as the oppressive aura dissipated, leaving behind a newfound sense of peace and serenity. And there, amidst the fading candlelight, the survivor witnessed a wondrous sight. Lady Eleanor's spectral form glowed with a radiant brilliance, her eyes reflecting gratitude and hope. The weight of centuries of torment seemed to lift from her being, and a sense of closure settled upon the chamber like a gentle breeze. With a final, ethereal touch, Lady Eleanor reached out to the survivor, her ghostly hand caressing his cheek in a gesture of gratitude. A single tear escaped from the corner of her eye, glistening like a diamond in the candlelight, as if to convey the depth of her appreciation for the bravery and compassion he had shown. With a gentle smile, Lady Eleanor's spirit began to fade, her form slowly merging with the light of the candles and the energy of the ritual. The survivor could feel her presence retreating into the realm of the departed, finding solace and peace at last. In the aftermath of their harrowing encounter, the survivor emerged from the hidden chamber, feeling a mixture of sorrow and relief. The mansion seemed to exhale its final breath, and the echoes of its haunting history began to fade like a distant memory. The darkness that had once gripped Hollowbrook Manor now seemed to recede, as if the malevolent force had been vanquished forever. As he stepped into the morning light, the survivor knew that he had not only confronted the horrors of the past but also confronted his own fears and doubts. The tale of Hollowbrook Manor would forever remain etched in his memory, a reminder of the power of compassion, bravery, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of darkness. And with the dawn of a new day, the legend of Lady Eleanor Hollowbrook would now be eternally intertwined with the legacy of the survivor, the one who had faced the darkness, liberated a tormented soul, and emerged stronger from the shadows of Eerie Echoes. The survivor stepped out of Hollowbrook Manor, the morning sun rising over the horizon, casting its golden rays upon the once foreboding mansion. As the last echoes of the harrowing night faded, he felt a mix of relief and weariness, knowing that the events that had unfolded within those haunted walls would forever leave an indelible mark on his soul. With each step away from the mansion, the weight of the past seemed to lessen, yet the survivor could not escape the haunting memories of his friends who had fallen victim to the malevolent forces lurking within. The weight of their absence bore down upon him like a heavy shroud, and he vowed to carry their memory and the lessons learned from their courageous stand with him for the rest of his life. The town of Greenwood greeted the survivor with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation, as if the very essence of Hollowbrook Manor's horrors had seeped into the air, making everyone wary of the survivor's return. The townsfolk whispered behind closed doors, speculating about what had transpired within those cursed walls, while others avoided eye contact, afraid of the truths they might glimpse in the survivor's haunted gaze. Yet, despite the judgmental whispers and lingering fears, the survivor found a newfound strength within himself. He knew that he could not keep the horrors he had faced a secret, that he had a duty to share the truth and prevent others from falling into the same nightmarish trap. Determined to lay the spirits of Hollowbrook Manor to rest once and for all, the survivor sought out the help of local historians and spiritual experts, eager to delve deeper into the history and dark secrets that had plagued his town for centuries. The ancient texts and journals he had found within the mansion served as a catalyst, guiding the survivor and his newfound allies towards unlocking the truth behind Lady Eleanor Hollowbrook's tragic fate and the malevolent forces that had sought to manipulate her spirit. In their research, they stumbled upon forgotten tales and lost knowledge, unearthing the tale of a powerful coven of witches who had once sought to protect the town from the very malevolent entity that had been unleashed by the survivor's ill-fated ritual. The witches' spells and rituals had managed to contain the malevolence for generations, but over time, the knowledge had faded into obscurity, leaving the town vulnerable to the curse's resurgence. Realizing that the key to freeing the town from the curse lay in re-establishing the protective enchantments, the survivor and his allies embarked on a perilous quest to recover the lost grimoires and artifacts that would empower them to confront the malevolent entity once and for all. Their journey took them to forgotten places and dark corners of the town, where they faced dangerous challenges and encountered malevolent spirits that sought to deter them from their mission. Yet, the survivor and his allies remained steadfast, drawing strength from their collective determination to save Greenwood from the clutches of darkness. With every challenge overcome, the survivor's resolve grew, and he felt a connection to Lady Eleanor's spirit guiding him from beyond the veil. He understood that their fates were now intertwined, that her quest for redemption and justice had become his own. As they gathered the final pieces of the ancient puzzle, the survivor and his allies returned to Hollowbrook Manor, armed with the knowledge and power necessary to break the curse that had plagued the town for centuries. The mansion stood before them, its aura of malevolence now tinged with a glimmer of hope as the survivor prepared to face the malevolent entity one final time. In the heart of the hidden chamber, where Lady Eleanor's tragic tale had first been revealed, the survivor and his allies began the ritual to re-establish the ancient protective enchantments that the witches of old had once cast. They recited incantations handed down through generations, their voices a harmonious chorus of determination and hope. The malevolent entity, sensing its impending defeat, unleashed a barrage of dark energy, attempting to extinguish the light that the survivor and his allies had brought with them. But they stood strong, shielded by the power of their unity and their belief in the righteousness of their cause. With a final surge of power, the survivor confronted the malevolent entity, his heart filled with the pain of loss and the desire to free not only Lady Eleanor but all the tormented spirits trapped within the mansion's walls. He spoke directly to the malevolence, challenging its hold on the town and offering it the chance to find redemption. In a moment of revelation, the malevolent entity's true nature was laid bare. It was once a tortured soul, seeking revenge and lashing out against the living as a twisted attempt to ease its own suffering. The survivor understood that defeating the malevolence required not just power, but empathy and understanding. With compassion in his heart, the survivor extended a hand of forgiveness to the malevolent entity, offering a path to redemption. Miraculously, the malevolence seemed to waver, as if struggling to let go of its malevolent desires. In that moment, the survivor realized that the malevolent entity had been a victim of the same cycle of pain and suffering as Lady Eleanor. He knew that breaking the curse required breaking the cycle of hatred and vengeance, and he vowed to end the cycle once and for all. With a profound act of sacrifice, the survivor willingly embraced the malevolent entity, absorbing its malevolence into himself, seeking to heal its tortured spirit with the power of compassion. The chamber trembled with the intensity of the moment, as if the very fabric of reality was being reshaped by the survivor's selfless act. In that moment of unity, the town's collective memories and emotions resonated, a chorus of hope and healing that echoed through time and space. As the light of dawn streamed through the chamber's windows, the malevolent entity dissipated, its malevolence absorbed by the survivor's act of selflessness and compassion. The mansion seemed to sigh, as if relieved from the burden of darkness that had consumed it for far too long. The survivor emerged from the chamber, his body exhausted but his spirit triumphant. He knew that the curse had been broken, not by defeating an enemy, but by embracing the darkness and offering it a path to redemption. In the wake of the survivor's victory, a transformation swept through Greenwood. The town seemed to heal, its energy renewed by the selfless act of one brave soul. As news of the survivor's quest and the truth behind Hollowbrook Manor spread, the townsfolk found solace in the knowledge that their ancestors' spirits could now rest in peace. And so, the survivor's tale became a legend of its own, a testament to the power of compassion, bravery, and the unyielding will to confront the darkness within and without. The mansion of Hollowbrook Manor still stood, a reminder of the town's haunted past, but its oppressive aura had been replaced with a sense of hope and renewal, as if Lady Eleanor's spirit now watched over Greenwood, grateful for the redemption her tragic tale had brought to the town. With the burden of the curse lifted, the survivor continued his life in Greenwood, forever changed by the horrors he had faced and the redemption he had bestowed upon the town. He carried the memories of his friends who had fallen to the malevolent forces, and he knew that their spirits would forever accompany him, guiding him through the journey of life. In the hearts of the townsfolk, the survivor became a symbol of courage and resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was a glimmer of light to be found. The legend of Hollowbrook Manor lived on, not as a tale of terror, but as a story of redemption and the enduring power of the human spirit to face the most terrifying of echoes and emerge stronger on the other side.